Well, Fabian, good to see you, sir. Thanks for making the time with a busy day, moving all around.
Nah, no worries. It's how it goes sometimes, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Just how are things, man? Just how's the day been overall?
It's been good, you know. I've just been constantly training, if I'm honest. So I've just been like having to meet here and there, but yeah, it's been good. It's been good.
All right, awesome, man, awesome. And yeah, of course, got another big fight coming up. And is it going to be your first time in Belfast, man? A new city for you to fight in?
Yeah, new city, but it's still like I feel like still we have a lot of Irish boys over there. So look forward to seeing if I still get the same reception that I got, here in Dublin.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I mean, I'm sure that's kind of some energy you feed off, right? I mean, it's unlike any other country, that kind of area, getting to fight in front of those fans, right?
Yeah. The Irish fans are different. Like honestly, until you've experienced it, like it is different. The energy that they bring is something else.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And taking on Aaron Jeffery, of course, I'm sure a guy you've been familiar with the last couple fights during his run. I mean, I just got to get your thoughts, man. Is this a fight that you kind of were expecting next, and what are you kind of making of him as your opponent here?
Yeah, it was the fight that I asked for. I mean, I asked for Aaron and asked for Dalton Roster. So those are the two fights that I expected to have anyways. So when Aaron Jeffery was the one that came back, I was like, okay, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, definitely, man. And I mean, was there any kind of worry, or what were kind of your thoughts? I got to know when things were transitioning, right? Because this is the beginning of new Bellator a little bit, right, under the PFL umbrella. So, like, were you still expecting things to work out where I was going to fight Aaron Jeffery no matter what, or what were you kind of feeling when things were happening?
My main like concern was like, are they gonna get me the fights? You know, are they gonna pay me the money that they're paying me? And will I still get the opportunity that to fight for a world title again down the line? And once I was confirmed that yes, those things will still be happening, I was like, you know what? I'll focus on the training and I'll let them handle what they need to handle.
Yeah, and when it comes to Jeffrey specifically, like, very talented guy. Obviously, he's in the spot that he is because he's reached it up at the top of the division like yourself. But when you look at him, I'm curious: is there like a certain area that you feel like you need to avoid against him, or are you feeling pretty comfortable no matter where this fight kind of plays out?
And I feel comfortable. I feel comfortable everywhere. I've been for the last 6 months. I've been training, like non-stop really. I know I'm going on holiday after a fight. I just couldn't go on a holiday after my last one. You know what I mean? I just wanted to stay in the gym and just focus and improve. And feel like I've done that. So when I go into this fight, I'm gonna show my full arsenal. I ain't gonna hold back on anything.
Of course, man. And ideally, what would be sweeter, a submission or a knockout in this one? In front of the Irish fans, I mean, I'm sure they love the knockouts, right? So,
Of course, a knockout. Of course, a knockout. You know what I mean? But to be honest, a win. A win. For me going out there and just outskilling this guy and just showing like a different level, like that's important. That's the most important thing. Right there, just showing that I've leveled up. You know what I mean, to myself and to my coaches and of course to the fans as well. So yeah.
of course, man. And unfortunately, it's going to be a rebound fight for you. So coming off, the title fight there with Johnny. But I mean, those kind of moments are very big, though, in careers, of course. Don't need to tell you. But I'm curious from your perspective, man, like, biggest takeaways, biggest kind of learning lessons you got out of the last fight.
Then the biggest thing was I can beat that guy. I mean, that was the big thing I took from that point. I can beat that guy, and if I was to fight him again, and which obviously that's what I'm working towards, I feel like I know how I fight him, and I know I can beat him. So it was one of those ones where it's a weird one because that's what you fight for in your career. You fight to get to those big moments, and when you get there, it's like, oh shit, I'm here now.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I'm here. You know what I mean? So I felt like I should have owned the moment a bit more than I did. And when I get back there, I made sure this time, I made sure that time that I do on the moment. But we're focused on everything now.
Yeah, I'm sure it's kind of, of course you didn't want to lose, but I'm sure, like you just said right there, it's good to get that out of the way, right? Get that experience out of the way. So then next time you're even, more on point, I guess.
Yeah, it's just like sometimes these things happen. I mean, and it's MMA at the end of the day, and I didn't thought I was beaten because he was better than me. I just thought if I looked at like I slowed down the part where the fight got finished, and I was like, you know what? I was caught out of position. You know what I mean? He was in desperation mode because obviously took a chunk off his head. So you know what I mean? He had to he had to go out there and press the fight, and as a champion, that's what he's doing it. So like hats off to him. But it wasn't a case of you know what, he technically beat me. He just put our position in MMA, and these things happen sometimes, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, certainly. And I got to get your thoughts on his recent fight with Impa, man. That was a very good one, competitive one. Very close. I mean, I personally scored it for Impa, but either way, I'm not mad. It's not a robbery. But what did you make of Eblen's fight against Impa?
You know what? I spoke to Impa as well. I could see how we could go either way, you know, because but at the end of the day, Impa done more damage. You know, I feel like MMA is still stuck on this wrestling thing. You
Right.
know, we're still stuck on this thing where it's like, oh, but you control the guy, but like, but he never done nothing. You know, so we're still stuck on that top like subject of which one's best.
Right,
But
right.
I watched the fight and I thought that he hasn't improved. I'm just being honest. I watched it. I thought it would have came out and I thought his striking would have been slicker, or like his ground game would have been like more slick, and he hasn't shown any improvement. And I'm still forward to working my way back towards that title fight and explore in those areas.
Yeah, and do you think the Jeffrey fight will be enough to get you to the rematch? You think you'll need one more after? What are you kind of expecting in terms of that path back to Eblen looking like?
No. After the Jeffrey one, they have to give me fuck that. And the reason why I say that is because Jeffrey was a guy that Evan was calling for.
Right, right.
I mean, like Evelyn himself said, I want to fight Jeffrey next. So I go out there and I do what I know I can do and beat that guy. How can anyone say I shouldn't fight for the title again when the champion is fought for that guy?
Yeah. Yeah, no, great point, man. That's I'm glad you mentioned it because I was going to mention it too. But I know it's coming up though, Fabian, with the season. You know, the light heavyweight and the welterweight. There's no middleweight one, unfortunately. But I'm curious, like, you have any interest in doing, up or down in those divisions? Maybe not this year because again, that's going to be next month. But maybe next year. Is there any? How do you feel about the season format?
Yeah. Next year, definitely. Like I'm a heavy boy. I can, you know what I mean? I walk around heavy, so light heavyweight for me would be no problem. You know, so but I need to achieve my goal first, which is get the Bellator title. Because I've joined Bellator, I've always said I want to get that title, so that's what I'm hunting for.
Yeah, definitely, man. And I mean, the activity levels are very interesting with the format, right? You have to win what, 4 fights at least, to get the title. Like, what do you make of that activity portion of it? And in terms of the weight, I think it's a better idea to go up than down, like we just mentioned, right?
Yeah, not definitely better to go up and down because I couldn't imagine putting
Right.
weight cut 4 times in like 6, 7 months. I'd die. You know what I mean? So, but I like it. I want to be. I've always said it. I want to be an active fighter. Like we're not in this game for long. Like unfortunately, it's a short career. Like in the grand scheme of like life. So if I can get in and have 4 or 5 fights in space of 6 or 7 months, that works out perfect for me.
Yeah, and as the fans, we love to see that, man. So we'll see where the journey takes us after these next couple fights this year. But man, I gotta ask you though, Fabian, like when it comes to the brother Leon, of course, it's so cool to see like brothers in MMA have such success like you guys have been having, man. And I gotta know from your perspective, like how satisfying was it watching the Colby fight?
I mean, you know what? It was. Of course, I would have liked for him to go out there and like knock him out.
Right.
But for him to go out there and just outskill him in all areas, you know what I mean? The wrestling, the fucking, the striking, everything. For him to go out there and do that, even that was even more satisfying because it just showed that his skill levels was above him. You know what I mean? So it's good, man. That guy's finished. That guy I haven't won a fight for like about 10 years now. So that guy is done. I'm happy my brother was the one to finish him completely.
Yes, quite the shutdown performance indeed. So we'll see what's next for Colby, but I don't know how many people care, as he says. So, but I gotta ask too, man. I mean, any insights into what we can expect for Leon next? Anything in the talks you could share?
Nothing. Nothing. Obviously, like anything that's gonna happen will come out. But he's training. He's got me, Cam, so he needs to help me, and he's been coming down. He's been sparring, so. Yeah, he's staying in shape. He's staying in shape. He's ready for the call.
Yes, absolutely, man. And just last thing on Leon, I mean, I got to ask what your thoughts are on kind of Belal as like the rematch title challenger, right? Like he's the guy who's also on a very long unbeaten streak. Of course, him and
Yeah.
Leon have the no contest fight there. That's kind of the hinge there. But it seems like everyone else is getting talked about him. There was the 300 stuff, right, of the reports of everybody but Belal getting offered. Do you think that one makes sense? Like, do you care for a rematch between them?
You know what? If I'm honest, I don't. It's one of those ones where I want my brother to have the biggest fights in his career. You know what I mean? So if that's going to be the license like Tasman, for the fans, that'll be a big fight. Or if that's going to be him moving up a weight class and challenging himself and trying to become a division, two weight class champion, then that's the fight I want to see him in more. I get it, and Belal deserves it because he's worked so hard, but fight game's not fair. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Fight games ain't fair sometimes. I just want to see my brother in the biggest fight. That's going to get him the most money.
Yeah, totally understandable, man. And as for another welterweight, I got to ask you about just because he's been a very polarizing figure. But I know you
Yeah.
used to do some training with Ian Garry, so I mean, I just got to ask you, like, do you think he's been hurting his career kind of in recent months with everything that's been going on, all the drama and stuff? Like, what do you make of the Ian Garry situation?
I feel like it's hurt, but you know what? It's hurt, as much as it's hurt his career and in terms of his fan base, um, the fighting game is very fickle. So he goes in there and he in his next fight, whoever he does fight, he goes in there and get a knockout. Everyone be back on him. You know what I mean? And so, but as far as like his fan base, everyone's called him like what in the cup Aaron.
Yeah,
I mean, everyone's calling him that now. So it's just, yeah, let's see how he gets out of that one.
for sure, man. And are you guys still cool though? Because like I know there was kind of the friction there with him separating from the gym or not being allowed and stuff. Like from your perspective,
Not,
how's
not,
all
not,
that?
yeah, no, not really, because it wasn't just a separation. It was a separation, but then it went on to talking shit. You
Right.
know what I mean? So that's when it's like, okay, then any relationship that we had, that's finished. You know what I mean? So yeah, you know what I mean? So so that was just that one.
Yeah, just maybe the guy needs to be a little more quiet. So,
Yeah,
but all right, Fabian, man, it's been great chatting with you. Last thing I will leave you with, I always love to ask fighters this question, but it's a tough one. So, if you never got into fighting, man, what do you think? What do you think you'd be doing instead for the career path?
career path. You know what? Like I'm a qualified carpenter. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
I probably would have not probably, but I would have got a business. I mean, own my own carpentry company. I probably open a few of those because I hate like working for people. You
Right,
know what I
right.
mean? So I would have had to create my own business where I'm the boss, and then yes, that's what I would have already been doing.
All right, awesome, man. Well, we don't have to worry about that. The fighting career is going pretty well. So, on that note, Fabian, I'll let you get on with the rest of your day, man. And I appreciate you taking time, especially moving all around. And can't wait
Oh
for the
yeah,
fight, man. Can't wait for the trip. Safe travels, and just best of luck with everything, man.
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you.